Hi everybody, Phil Mo at Ashtons Franchise Consulting. Today I'm with David Hunt from the Leak Detective, who is one of our fabulous clients. And we're going to have a chat about franchising and about David's business. And hopefully you can learn a thing or two. So welcome, David. Nice to meet you. How are you doing?
Yeah, morning. Yeah, we're doing great. Thanks very much, Phil. Yeah, all good up
Excellent.
here.
Brilliant. And do you want to start off by just telling us a little bit about your business? So if we were in a lift together and you were telling me all about it, what would you say?
Well, we run a specialist leak detection franchise. It's a new franchise. We're in our first year, less than our first year, but we have been running a leak detection business up in Scotland for the best part of 10 years as a managed business. And we still run that as a managed business, although we do hope to franchise it ultimately. And about a year ago, we were wondering how we could grow it. We basically conquered Scotland in terms of our reputation and the specialist nature of the work we do. We thought, how do we grow it south of the border? And franchising was put up as an option, which was a light bulb moment because I originally 25 years ago, I left employment and took a franchise myself.
Okay.
And so I had a history of franchising, and although I'd moved away from it, and now I find myself back with it. So it seemed a natural fit.
Did you enjoy being a franchisee? How was that experience for you?
Well, it got me going,
Mm.
yeah, it got me going. It set me on my path into self-employment and now successfully running, two businesses, um, turning over quite a few £1 million.
Mm.
And so yeah, I would. There's always room for improvement, isn't there? But looking back, it got me setting off in the right direction, and we've never
Mm.
really looked back.
That's it. That's interesting though that you've gone from franchisee to franchisor, and you've obviously got an entrepreneurial spirit. And it's where I'm coming to with this is that we often tell our clients that what some of the best franchisees aren't necessarily the most entrepreneurial people. They are the
Mm,
ones that really want to do something. They've got that dream, but they haven't necessarily got that nous and know how to go and do it. And that's why they buy into a franchise. So
absolutely.
for you buying a franchise, that's obviously elevated you and got you into that world. And then it's allowed you to take it to the next level and start your own business and then franchise it. So
Exactly right. Yeah. So I've
yeah.
seen it from both sides, and there's no doubt about it. People with an entrepreneurial spirit need their hand holding to some degree, particularly if you want to grow a business, and get it to some sort of size. It's hard work.
Mm.
And we've made a lot of mistakes over the years, and why not get into franchising and benefit immediately from day one
Yeah.
uh, with the knowledge and experience, so that you don't make those mistakes that we all made.
So in very simple terms, your business finds leaks. Is that mainly residential or businesses or a bit of both or
Yeah, so it's very specialist leak detection. It's an extension of plumbing, you might say. However, a lot of plumbers don't enjoy doing leak detection work. Some definitely do, but a lot of them don't. It's mainly because it's quite investigative type work. It
mm,
requires a bit of problem solving, requires investment in equipment and training.
okay.
But what it allows you to do, if you take the trouble to get into that level of training and equipment, it elevates you above the competition, because there's
Mm,
very few people that can do this, which is a great thing. It's always good to be in a niche.
yeah.
You can charge a premium rate for that. So yeah, most of our customers are, I would say, 60 to 70% domestic, 30 to 40% is commercial.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you've talked about the equipment there. How many people have you got? Have you got people in vans running around for you, or how does your operation work in Scotland?
Well, up in Scotland, when we have over the general businesses in total is in the region of 40 staff, but we only have three specialist leak detection trained and equipped guys.
Okay.
And that's enough, actually. That's enough to cover the demand up here
Mm,
um, quite comfortably. We don't have a huge amount of competition, simply because most of the other leak detection organizations around the country. Whilst they offer UK coverage, what that really means is everywhere except up north. You know, so we've got 3 guys running about up here. A lot of work comes straight from clients. Most of it is ultimately funded by insurance companies.
Okay.
We get a lot of work coming through from, because we've been established a while, we get a lot of work coming through from loss adjusters, property managers, housing associations,
Mm,
and 1 or 2 national insurance networks that we've been on for years and years.
mm. So the guys in the vans, they are they guys, or are there any females, or are they all men, or?
No, it is guys at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So I'll say guys, but we know what we know.
Yes.
I'm trying to be 2024 about it.
Yes.
So a franchisee is effectively going to be a person in a van doing what they're doing, or are they going to be a manager, managing a team of people? How's it going to work?
Well, it's really up to them. It can be both, but predominantly it's a man and a van type arrangement. It's
Mhm.
set up for a man and a van to run quite efficiently.
Yeah.
Um, However, if you wish to go on and expand your business, expand your region, expand your territory, then it certainly can be a managed network. And
Okay.
we have had approaches from 1 or 2 people who don't really want to do the work. They're not on the tools as such, but they see the opportunity,
And this
and they
this was
employ.
probably all ironed out when you first started working with Charlie on the opportunity and what it's going to look like, I imagine. Is that right?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
was your head at when, even before you met Charlie? What were you thinking, man in the van, or
Yeah. Charlie and I very quickly were on the same page with this. Again, because we've been doing it so long,
mm,
it was easy for me to sort of project forward as to the type of person and the type of business model.
mm,
And it's obviously man in the van is the clear and obvious one. It could also be a managed network, as we've just said, but also it could be a bolt-on to an existing business
okay,
um, in, for example, property repair, property maintenance, or insurance contractors that do insurance property repairs.
hmm,
Leak detection is an amazingly good route to market to find clients for
okay,
property repair. Because when you
yes,
go in,
yeah,
you find their leak, they absolutely love you because they've had a couple of plumbers out already
mm,
without success. We come in, we find it. Almost always the next question is, do you know anyone that can repair my house for me?
yeah,
And of course we do. We have
yeah,
a sister company that does that.
okay.
Um, so as a bolt-on to an existing business, it works extremely well.
Mm. And what is the key to leak detection? Good equipment, good technology, is it?
Yep. Good equipment and mindset of the individual, the engineer.
Mm,
You need to be inquisitive. You need to be a problem solver. You mustn't give up easily, um, and willing to learn.
okay.
You know, if you've got those attributes, you will do well because the equipment and the training that we provide
Mm.
will set you off in the right course.
Okay, we'll talk about profile of franchisee in a minute. So,
Yeah.
where you've made a good start, haven't you? How many franchisees have you got at the moment?
Well, we managed to get 3 up and running almost straight away, and we've got another 2 going through the training process.
Okay,
That's 5, and then we've got a 6th who's just sorting out his finance.
fantastic.
That'll be 6 in the next month, probably a month, 6 to 8 weeks. There'll be 6 up and running, and we've got a pipeline of interested parties that are just tentatively inquiring at the moment.
Okay,
But so it's pleased with how it's gone this year so far.
yeah, no, that's a great result. Where did your
Yeah,
first 3 come from? Because our clients or potential clients were, how are we going to get the first franchisee? And that's the sticking point, really, because
it is. It's
it
quite
is.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your experience, and how did that happen?
Well, one of the things we found when we got ready to launch was, goodness, where do we start the marketing? And that would be my um, recommendation to people that are setting up a franchise or early in the stage of launching a franchise organization is to start thinking about the marketing from day one.
Mm,
We left it a little bit late. So we initially went down the Facebook route and targeting plumbers,
yeah.
which provided a huge amount of inquiries, hundreds,
Mm,
but it weren't particularly good quality. But we did get our first two of our first three ultimately came from Facebook.
Okay.
Although one of them was a very long lead. It took 6 months to tease him over the line,
Mm,
over the finish line.
mm.
Uh, and then we started advertising on some of the portals, some of the franchising portals that people will
Yeah.
be familiar with.
And well, that's great that you got the result, because marketing is about testing and measuring. And
Correct.
yes, you had lots of leads, but low quality, versus maybe
Yes.
something more targeted where you get lower level of leads, but more quality. So I've got a
Exactly.
client and he's advertised in various places, and he's got a franchisee from each of the places he's advertised. So
Yeah,
it's tough, because he wants to carry on, but then they've each got their attributes and their negatives about it. So
I do.
this, like, you as a franchisor, this is your game now, isn't it? You are finding franchisees, bringing people on, onboarding them, helping them to become successful. This is your business compared to
Right.
what you used to do, sort of thing.
Yeah, it is. And it's very important that when you're doing your marketing, you're measuring.
Mm,
It's no point just throwing money out there at multiple different places and not tracking and measuring the results. Well, I've made those mistakes. We all have in the past.
mm,
So we're very slow. We're very deliberate in where we spend our money, and we measure it everything,
mm.
and we review it. Which is sensible, isn't it? Um,
Are
but
you still in control of that process, or have you got someone in your team that's helping you qualify leads, or how's that work?
at the moment, we've got a third party. Again, this is a new development for us in the last 2 or 3 months, couple of months. We've more or less outsourced the contact management of inquiries.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the filtering for us because
Yeah.
I'm still running businesses. I'm a bit time poor,
Mm,
so we've gone down that route recently. They filter out the genuine inquiries, and once they've established that they are really seriously interested in talking to us, then I'll take over from that point.
mm. But you were involved in the early days.
Yes, I did it all.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I
And
found that quite important.
mm,
Very time consuming, but I learnt a lot,
mm,
and I discovered what the pushbacks were from people, having spoken to them myself,
yeah.
what they didn't like, what they did like about the proposal, and
Mm,
we tweaked our offering accordingly,
yeah. Yeah. To make it fit
to overcome
what the
some
feedback.
of the yeah, based upon that feedback. So I got a lot of I'd say I got a lot of benefit out of being at the coalface in those early few
Mm,
months, picking up the feedback. What was a hard sell? What was a good, easy sell?
mm,
And then, as I say, tweaking things to try and overcome some of the objections.
yeah. Perfect. Well, it's
Yeah.
like being a McDonald's franchisee. You can't become one if you're not flipping burgers for 6 months, can you? So you need to
Yes.
know the ins and outs of that business. And it's something that we say to clients all the time. It's, you will have to be involved. Don't just
Yes.
get anyone else to, especially with the early ones, because
Yeah.
what I say is those early franchisees, they become your stories, and you're no
They do.
longer selling you in your business. You're selling Bob in Manchester or Jane in Devon,
Absolutely
and
right.
this is why they became a franchisee, and this is their success, and totally different message. So yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
it's absolutely key, and you can't detach yourself. There are people out there in the business world that say, you must, try to delegate and remove yourself from the coal face. But in my experience, I'm not sure that's necessarily correct.
mm,
You need to be in touch with the day to day
mm,
sufficiently to have a feel and have a handle on the problems, and and do any make any corrections that you feel are necessary. If
okay,
you're too remote, you just don't get the feedback.
yeah. So not much golf on a Friday afternoon for you
No, no,
then.
no, no, no.
So what about franchising and the process in general? Was it more complex than you thought it was going to be, or how did that pan out once you were getting into that? Right, we're doing this thing.
Um, Quite time consuming, quite a lengthy process, but very detailed. I'm a detail man.
Mm,
So I was totally on board with Charlie on all of that.
yeah,
He'd set me tasks, and off I'd squirrel away and make sure everything was done for him for the next meeting.
Right.
So yeah, be prepared. You do need to put effort and time in, and it
Mm,
makes you analyze your business, makes you properly think deeply about it,
mm,
which is a good thing, obviously, because you're inviting people to part with some money on a what you hope is going to be a successful story for everybody concerned.
mm, mm,
And you can't do that on a whim. You need to give it a proper due diligence, proper thinking, you know.
mm.
So I enjoyed the process actually. Um, as I say, I can't recall how long it took now, but I suspect it took the best part of 8 to 10 months.
Mm. That's it. There's always things that not hold things up, but there's, oh, we just need to do this, and then, oh, that's speaking to a web developer, and it all just gets
Yeah.
pushed down a little bit further. But
Yeah, and
yeah,
if you tried to do it on your own, which was an option for us, we would have fallen flat on our face. You know, other priorities would have come along and got in the way. But because we're consulted with Ashtons, we
mm,
basically parted with money to
makes you do
recruit
it.
your. Well, I'm afraid to say, once you part with money, it kind of focuses you, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's like
You know,
joining the gym, isn't it? You join the
yeah,
gym, you make sure you go. So.
exactly. So I felt that investment was money well spent.
Mm. I think what, like, I know we're called Ashtons Franchise Consulting, but I think
Yeah,
we do act as mentors and coaches as well as delivering the
yeah,
work. So I think there's probably a lot of value from the conversations that you were having together and the thought process around things, and that's the detail side of the work that we do. Um,
yes.
so a quick sales pitch for us. Like, why did you choose Ashtons? And is there like a testimonial snapshot of like how great we are or how bad we are, or what would you say about Ashtons?
Yeah, we put the feelers out to 3 or 4 different uh, organizations, and Ashtons were more diligent and more careful in responding to us. I felt like they were making an effort to engage with us. I wasn't chasing them; they
Mm,
were responding. There were 1 or 2 other organizations that we approached, which I just got the feeling we were a bit of a number. We were just, you know, I didn't feel that they were fully engaging with our inquiry.
mm,
But we sat down and had fairly lengthy interviews with 3 in total, including Charlie at Ashton's. And I mean, Charlie had a key benefit. I mean, there were benefits of his story, his background
mm.
that I liked. But one of the key benefits for Charlie was that he lived in Edinburgh, which is where I live.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, which geographically made life a lot easier.
yeah. And it helps
But
build a relationship, doesn't it? Because
it
you know you're
does.
close and things like that.
Yeah, but and what I liked about Charlie was he had been a franchisee himself. He had developed a franchise
Mm,
um, on the management side, so he'd been there and done it, which always helps. But I would say the overarching um, reason for going with Ashton's is they seem to take more care in engaging with us right at the very beginning.
mm.
Yep. That they were calling me up and checking that I had received bits of information, and you just felt like they were making an effort.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for that. You've helped us,
that's
so
okay.
let's help you. So, who are you looking for in terms of a franchisee? Is there like a headline statement that you can make, or like, yeah, what are you looking for from a franchisee?
Well, franchisees are really business partners, aren't they? I am looking for someone that I'm going to enjoy working with, someone who's got energy, who's entrepreneurial, who recognizes the opportunity because leak detection is a hugely growing sector.
Mm,
People possibly have never even considered it. And if they want to find out more about that, they can obviously get in touch with me and I'll talk to them about that
mm,
for as long as they're willing to listen.
mm.
Um, but but overarching, I'm looking for people that are, as I say, with energy, entrepreneurial, problem solving, and willing to learn. And
Right.
if you can offer me those attributes, then I'm on board with you for as long as you need.
And what's the best way to get in touch? Go to your website or give you a call, or
Yeah, if you go to the Leak Detective website, there should be a little drop down banner that uh, pops up in front of you if you're inquiring about a franchise or interested in a franchise. Just click on the link.
Mhm.
and we'll get a contact form through to us, and we'll be in touch with you.
Perfect. And my final question, what does the future look like? If we're talking in 5 years' time, are you going to be all over the UK, or are you going to be into Europe as well, or what? Where are you going to be?
Yeah, well, certainly the UK. I mean, my vision is to be the go-to leak detection network for the UK.
Mm,
And that's partly the opportunity because there's no training, you can't get any training in what we do. There's no college course, there's no apprenticeships,
mhm,
there's no way of acquiring the skills unless you come to people like us and we'll
mm,
train you.
okay.
So in 5 years' time, less than that, 3 years' time, we want to be the go-to leak detection network for the UK, best trained guys, best kitted out guys.
Mm,
Um, and then once we've got that network up and running, we'll turn our eyes to Europe.
yeah, brilliant. Well, I'm sure you'll make a great success. You've had a great start, and obviously you've taken the advice of us, so you're doing things in the right way. So yeah, best of luck in that vision for you.
Lovely. Okay, thanks very
Perfect.
much, Phil.
Yeah, thanks for the chat, and good luck with everything in the future.
Great. Okay then. Goodbye.
Cheers. Thanks, David.